Hey fellow hop killers, it's Dylan here with the Hop Killer Brewery, where we bring you the brews, reviews, and how-tos. And today I'm bringing you a grain glass video of a Kölsch. For those of you who don't know what a Kölsch is, it's a German-style beer. It's a hybrid between a lager and an ale. It's a crusher. It's a light-bodied beer, crisp, smooth, and refreshing, as our boy Party Rob would say. If you don't know who Party Rob is, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Hopkiller Brewery. I have my handy-dandy tasting notes here, as well as the Beersmith recipe sheet. Initially, this was brewed to be a 4% ABV beer. As we find out, this was not 4%, a little higher efficiencies than I had expected with the RoboBrew system, which, if you're curious about that system, check out my previous videos. The RoboBrew is a 10 out of 10 recommendation. I'm going to go into greater detail in a different video, but I definitely wanted to shout it out. No affiliation, no anything. I just really feel that is the most valuable system out there on the market today for home brewing in 2023. The details. This was a 4.5 gallon batch size recipe. I used 6.35 gallons of RO water, and I mixed that with 3 grams of calcium chloride and 3 milliliters of lactic acid, 1.5 grams of Epsum, and 1.5 grams gypsum. I use RO water because the water I have available to me is pretty terrible. For this batch, I used 7 pounds of Weyermann Pilsner malt. I used 8 ounces or half a pound of red wheat malt from Brew, and I used 4 ounces of Weyermann acidulated malt to help get to my target pH. I targeted a 5.2 pH in the mash. The mash target was 148 degrees Fahrenheit. This beer fermented very low. We'll get into that in a second. If I were to brew it again, I definitely would be shooting for about 152, 153 Fahrenheit range because it did finish very dry, and I wanted it to finish at a higher gravity than it did. For 2 things, I wanted it to be a little bit more body because it's a lower ABV beer. I wanted to have some residual sweetness to enhance that body. I know it's meant to be a light, crisp beer, but it's, to me, a little too dry if I'm being picky. And 2, I wanted it to be a lower alcohol beer. This finished at 5.1%. Still low, still within range for the style, but I personally wanted it closer to that 4.5 range. So we did a 60-minute mash, boiled for 60 minutes. We ended up with a starting gravity of 1.043, and the finishing gravity post-fermentation was 1.004 or 1 degree Plato. Hopped with a first wort addition of 1 ounce of Hallertau Mittelfruh, and then 15 minutes left in the boil, I added 1 Wurflock tablet and another ounce of Mittelfruh and some yeast nutrient. That's all that went into the beer. Again, the entire recipe will be in the description. All of that information aside, this beer is very clear. Again, it's been in the keg for, 10, 11 weeks. So I have some notes. I'm not here to, act like I haven't drank it before. Let's start with the aroma. There is, to me, is this very Kölsch specific light green apple character that I get from the aroma. Kind of like the skin, or, like when you first cut into it, that aroma of that, freshly cut green apple. Lightly is what I get. And then I get a kind of straw, maybe sourdough crust aroma to it. And, just kind of like that general, like lager-ish aroma. No sulfur, but I'm talking like macro lager aroma. That's what I personally get. Tasting, what I have is kind of a light bready flavor. Again, that like lager-ish quality without the sulfur. And then the finish in the body, it's very light body. Again, finished at 1.004, super dry, extremely crisp, and it finishes to the point where you just want another sip. It's not astringent, which is nice, which I was worried about how dry it finished. And it's nicely carbonated. It's like, just a pearl white head, very straw-like appearance. And to me, it hits all the markers that is a Kölsch. If I had to be picky with it, it's a little on the drier side for me personally. I wanted something with a little bit more body for the reasons I described. And I personally wanted this beer to be lighter or lower in ABV because that's just what I was going for. But the recipe, super straightforward, super easy for anybody to brew of any home brewing level. Single infusion mash, 3 grains, which really could be 2 if you didn't have the acidulated in there. And I brewed this beer before with 100% Pilsner. I added the wheat. This says 6%. So it's 90% Pilsner malt, 6.5% wheat malt, and 3.5% acidulated. All Pilsner works too. You can basically make a smash Kölsch out of this if you like Hallertau Mittelfruh or whatever hop you prefer in your Kölsch. Now, a good, crisp, and clean Kölsch. If you do brew this, make sure to let me know. Tag me on Instagram. I have TikTok as well. And of course, my email is always available in the descriptions below. The recipe will be in the description below. Everything you need to brew this beer, it's in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.